Alright guys, thanks for coming and hanging out with me today. Today we're going to be talking about my capstone project for my principal certification. Over the past 8 months, I've been doing a research project over how does technology affect student learning, especially with my own subject of reading. So, beginning this year, what I did was, I of course went over our school improvement plan and our goals. One of the key goals for us here at Lebanon Middle School was to help prepare students to be contributing members to society, and also to improve proficient and distinguished scores. So of course, to do that, I wanted to get a good starting point and know where we were last year and of our current students now. So the first thing I did was I looked at all the students we got back from last year. So this has none of our 6th grade students. I just wanted to get a fresh start, see who we were. At the end of their last year, with the students we had, a total of 290 students back from last school year. Here are our reading totals and percentages from last year. Of all the 290 we had 40 distinguished, 104 proficient, 80 apprentice, 65 novice. When you see that, it doesn't sound too bad, but when you look at the percentages, that's when it gets a little bit worrisome. I'm glad our proficient's our highest number. You know, that's kind of a goal. We like that, and there's several proficient students in here. But when we get down to the apprentice and novice, we start to really see an issue. Almost 1 out of 4 kids we returned last year were novice readers. As a reading teacher, it's something I don't want to accept. It's something I don't think any of us want to accept. Because 1 out of 4, that's a large number. And even apprentice, it's about the same. Now, where I really saw a big jump was our GAP students. Where were they? Of the 185 GAP students, who are our Title I school, we have a lot of GAP students. 29%, almost our largest group, was novice. 53 novice, 57 apprentice, 55 proficient. Our novice is almost equal to our apprentice and proficient levels. So it gets even worse with those GAP students, that novice percentage that we're in. So it's obvious to me, just obvious to you all, and to everyone we talk about this building and working towards that this year, is how can we improve those percentages? How can we improve that novice reduction? And then also, how can we move our students from this apprentice to proficient distinguished area? Because distinguished is only at 9%. You know, that's by far the lowest percentage, and we don't want that as a school. We know our kids can do better than that. So to combat this problem, what I did was, go too far. What I did was I decided to start integrating technology. That was when my research started. So what I did between the fall and winter math test was I really hit it hard with technology in my classroom, using our Chromebooks, using the technology that we had here with us, and trying to find ways that improve reading comprehension. Now, for our starting point, here's where we work for the 6th grade math scores. These are my 6th grade math scores. The green, that's our average. The yellow is the grade level average. So we started off about a 212 and we're above grade level average. That's for all the student body. So I want to look at the group as a whole. Hang on just a second.
You're rolling.
Alrighty, so thanks. So we're above grade level average. That was good, that was nice. I was happy to see. We're only about 2 points, a point and a half above, but that's not too bad to get started for the year. I also broke down male and female students. Female really outshine the males. That's going to continue throughout the whole year. I don't want to spoil it. They do well. I was a little upset with not upset, but frustrated where we were starting off. The males were a few points below the grade level average. And then I also wanted to break it down too and look at students of different ethnicities. Caucasian, African American, and our Hispanic students. Caucasian students, they had the highest average of over a 214. Hispanic students, and there's a very small number of them, so it's kind of hard to get their percentages. But they had done really well. They were up higher, more towards the 212. And African Americans, they were the lowest group at just above the 204. So they were the lowest area. So I really want to concentrate too on how I can continue to improve the students who are doing well, are more proficient students, while at the same time engaging students who are at the lower level. That's kind of a difficult part, and I was hoping technology would be what could help me do that.
Can I ask a question on
You
that?
sure can.
Did you not have enough population of Asian
Did not.
students?
We only had, in my grade, I don't have any Asian students.
Okay.
In my, I think 8th grade has a couple, and I think 7th grade might have one in Miss Barnett, but I don't have any Asian
Okay.
students. So, here's my plan. These were the big tools I was going to use to hopefully, and I had my bright plan of improving student learning with reading comprehension. Compass Learning was one. Compass Learning takes math test scores and it assigns assignments on grade level, or their levels the student is, that individualized instruction to help them improve. That was how I was planning on targeting both the higher level student and lower level students. Common Lit and New ZLA. I'll explain these together because they're pretty much the same thing. Common Lit is a online reading source where students can log on, read a passage, answer questions based on it. I can critique the grade level, or not the grade, I'm sorry, the Lakeside level for both Common Lit. News ELA is more of a nonfiction. It's more news articles, same type of stuff. They can take it and I can also edit it so that it hits their grade level. So at this point I'm thinking this is going to work out well. Kids are going to use technology almost every day in my classroom, and I'm going to see this growth because I'm differentiating my instruction, and I thought in a way that technology would sort of take care of that. But unfortunately, things changed. It didn't really work out as I expected, which we'll see on our next slide. So here's where the transition, here's kind of the oh no moment for me. From fall to winter, our MAP scores, while the grade level average is in yellow, rose, ours didn't catch up. We went from above grade level average to below. And for me, first off, I guess you could say it definitely hurt my pride a little bit, but I don't know what happened. I did all this technology, I differentiated, I used all these things so that way students could learn and do. I thought I had all this great stuff. And then the results weren't where I expected. And this continues, this trend continues through the winter MAP test. Through the winter to our male and female students. Females, slight growth. They were the only group that stayed above grade level average, which it switches to red. I couldn't get that to change, so sorry about that confusion. And males stayed the same. Males showed no growth. Males, and I didn't understand why that was the case. And again, that continued on towards our ethnicities, students of multiple ethnicities. Again, we have fall scores here and our winter scores here. Grade level, which is in the blue this time, rose. All of our other other ethnicities either at best stayed the same, went up maybe a half a point, or even some went down, especially our Hispanic students. The only group that really showed any real significant growth from this was our African American students. And I was very confused as why was that the case? Why are our students struggling even though I'm using all this technology, all these resources that I thought were really going to help? So I changed it. Even though I was trying to work this Capstone project, improve technology, couldn't let my kids not grow. We had to change and do something differently. So I switched it up a little bit. For the next part, from winter to spring, our most current MAP test, I dialed it down. I still use technology slightly, just a little, but it was more of a tool to reinforce. Instead of being what was the driving factor behind my instruction, what was being used every day, instead it was something to reinforce what I was teaching. I was using it maybe once a week. Some weeks I didn't use it much. Some weeks I may use it a couple times depending on what the lesson was. But I dialed it down a lot and used it more as a tool rather than that main focus of my instruction. And I was very happy to see, and we'll talk about other reasons why this may have affected, more of a growth of what I expected from our students. So the next slides we're going to look at are our spring results and how our students did in the spring. So again, please ask questions. I know that you see a lot of bars, so if you don't understand, just let me know. So from fall to winter, we didn't see a lot. Then from winter to spring, we see a massive jump. It was one of the biggest jumps I've had as a teacher. Our overall average went from below a 214 to below grade level average to a 218.9, which is only 1.1 point away from a proficient grade level average. And we also, which this was big to me, I really want to make sure we stayed above grade level average, is that we jumped above that grade level. We jumped above where we were supposed to be at the time. And earlier we started off about 1.5 points. Now we're almost a full 5 points ahead of it. So kids were doing well, kids were working. By dialing it down, overall it helped. And it was across the board. I was wondering maybe it was a certain group, maybe one group really exceeded when others didn't. But overall, this new type of instruction using technology as a reinforcement tool, as a backup to help me with what I was teaching, to support what the kids were learning instead of the main tool, really helped. You see the same thing, and I'm really proud of my boys. We did not catch the girls. I don't think we ever have since I've been teaching, but they tried. Boys, no jump from fall to winter, had a massive jump of almost 10 points. Let me see, so 2.8, no, I'm sorry, about 9-ish, 8 to 9 point jump from our male students. Females, even our higher level students were improving. They went up from a half a point here to almost 3 points up here, 2.17 to almost over a 2.19, so I'm sorry, about 2.5 points. So they made a big jump. All learners were growing, whether they were the highest achievers or they were the students struggling. Finally, my different ethnicities. Again, fall, winter, you don't see a lot of difference. Anything you see kind of a decline. But when we get back to spring, almost all of our students, regardless of their ethnicity, Caucasian, African American, or Hispanic, are either above grade level or within 0.5 points away from it. So that's awesome. I was really excited for my students that they were able to show that much growth. Now, what does this all tell me? When I was trying to figure out why was this the case, what was the reason? It's not technology, it's not common lit, it wasn't news ELA, and I'll talk about this one more in a second, that messed them up, that didn't allow them to achieve what I expected them to achieve. What I found is something that I looked at when I did my literature review and I was looking up and doing my own research on it. It's not necessarily the technology that is holding the kids back, it's just my experience with it. There was a couple of things I think added to it. One of the big things was my experience using technology as a teacher. Used it before, not to that extent. I think part of the reason why the students didn't achieve so well is because maybe I wasn't reinforcing them the way I needed to be when they were doing it. But putting a kid on a computer, having them logging in and doing, no matter how great the activity is, isn't going to help them learn if they're not really engaged and if I'm not taking that time to work one-on-one with that student. Something else that I think really added to these students improving so much and so well is they were more comfortable, I think, with the more traditional learning, and it worked out when they were able to get on the computer and get on those technology-based, so they were excited for it, which helped them become more engaged in the learning. And finally, I think another big part of it was how we decided to switch up our changes with our math testing. Whereas it wasn't just in one day, I think that also played a part on it, where before it was one day, and then after that it was moved to 3 full days, so it was more of a K-Prep-like feel. Overall, with the year in review, and so as I move forward with this and continue, because I'm going to keep using technology, even though I'm not going to use it to the point where I did between the fall and winter. It's a great tool. It's something that all teachers can benefit from. And I would assume that many teachers, if they took on the test that I did working with this technology, would have a lot of the same issues. We'd have a lot of the same struggles and problems not being familiar with it, not knowing how to really integrate that technology into the classroom. Not that they can't do it, not that technology won't help them improve their student learning, but they just don't know how to yet. So moving forward, some of the stuff that I think will help myself as well as other teachers is continue with these professional developments like we do. For example, the I2 conference that we do at the high school. It's a great resource, having teachers work in different type of technology, building on that technology skills that they have. I also like to work on other professional developments for myself and also other people as we move forward with our new schools and things like that next year, developing ways to help teachers slowly integrating technology. It's like anything else, it can be too much of a good thing. If you go from no technology to just absolutely every day full of technology in your classroom, kids won't be prepared and won't be able to succeed to the point that you will. Before our kids can really succeed with it and can really get familiarize themselves with it, us as teachers, we have to do that as well. The last slide, always pretty colors I've shown everyone. Just kind of the overall year review we have our star. It's kind of hard to see, I'm sorry, with the light. But I was excited to see, you can see this little bitty yellow line in the middle of it. That is the grade level average, and by the end of the year at this point now, as we move and getting ready for that big K-Prep testing of the year, every one of the student groups that I researched, whether it be male or female, African American, Hispanic, Caucasian, whatever it may have been, are all either right at it, really close, a whole lot closer than they were at the beginning of the year to grade level average, or they're above it. So overall, to end this presentation and in kind of what I've been talking about with this Capstone project and what I've taken most from it, is that technology is a great tool to use in the classroom. And I've stressed the word tool. It's something we can use to support and to reinforce what our kids are learning. And when it's used that way, we can see some tremendous growth in our students and their ability to succeed in our content area.